No matter how much you anti or driver's check or whiff punish people, there's always one guy who likes to play like this and ends up winning because of it.
Let us begin. Round one. Fight.
What is that? Yo! Yo! Yo!
In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips for my crackhead containment strategy to make sure that you don't lose any points to these crackheads on ranked anymore.
Shut the fuck up, bro. You're a masher. You're a masher. You're a masher.
Before I start this video, shout out to Sama and Slash for helping me verbalize these thoughts. I'll link their social media accounts in the description. The first tip is to play reactive with good fundamentals. Most crackheads love to jump in the air and run at you. This is where reactive play and good fundamentals come into effect. I'm not delving too much into this point because I already actually have a video describing how to improve your fundamentals, where you can check in the description below. The better you get at stopping committal options like jumps, dashes, and drive rushes, the more likely you are to contain crackheads. The most important thing though, is to not get too active against these guys. Play at a far range and stay anti-airing and checking them, perfect parrying their fireballs, jabbing their dragon lash kicks, or whatever the matchup entails. If you run at them, they will do something that you won't expect and you won't have prepared for. Keep them at a distance, watch them fling themselves at you, and then capitalize on their mistakes. This is key to stopping them from cheesing the win. Once you have them on defense, you can frame trap and spacing trap them as much as you want. Just remember that in the neutral game, you need to be capitalizing on their stupid mistakes. This is also one of the most important steps in the crackhead containment strategy, as if you don't know your optimal punish combos, if you don't have good whiff punishes or anti-airs, it'll be very difficult to stop the crackhead from jumping in at you or doing EXDP and you miss your combo, etc. So make sure that this step is down before any of the other steps. My second tip is corner them in the Granblue zone. If you've ever played Granblue Fantasy vs RYNGE, you know what the Granblue zone is. It's that zone right in the corner, where the person on the offense can threaten plus frames, throw, shimmy, and anything from this range. The spacing also allows them to play very passively and watch the opponent's buttons to whiff punish them. This zone is incredibly powerful because it forces the opponent to gamble. Even though Street Fighter 6 does not have dash light just like Granblue does, this general zone is incredibly strong, especially if you're fighting a crackhead in this game. I have some footage up of me and my friend, who I'm teaching how to play the game, learn about the Granblue zone in the middle of the set, where I do it to them and they do it to me. If you hold this range, everything I said in the first tip applies except that they can't walk back. Many crackheads will feel forced to jump at you, drive rush at you, or do something stupid while all you need to do is hold that range and react. Press your big buttons, throw out some space fireballs, and threaten pokes when you need to. Just make sure you don't overdo it, because someone will whiff punish you, or dive kick you, or whatever the case may be. This advice also works generally against strong players. There is some stuff that certain characters may have to mess with his range, like cammy dive kick, Kimberly elbow drop, or anything else for that matter. However, for the most part, you should be at least applying this in your game plan against everybody, especially the crackheads. Tip 3 is knowing which crackheads know how to adapt. Some crackheads play the game in their single player game plan and just love to press buttons for no reason. However, some of them know that they play crazy, and their entire game plan revolves around making you mad or making you forget that they have bad habits by alternating between crackhead and patient playstyles. For reference, it's not like these guys are bad at the game. This is a completely valid playstyle and is especially strong on certain characters like M. Bison, Kimberly, and DJ, who have very strong movement and feinting options. However, they are not the focus of this video because these guys actually know how to play the game at a high level. This means that these guys need to be beaten with strong adaptation and optimization and not quick solutions like anti-airs and positioning. I'll leave a timestamp up on the screen for the end of the video where I'll actually be doing a review of what a crackhead who does not adapt looks like, where Slime will play a mirror match against another cammy and wins through strong passive and reactive play. And if you want to see what good crackhead gameplay looks like, or if you play like that yourself and want to improve, I recommend watching players like Semy, who is a very strong Ryu player from the EU known for his unhinged playstyle but very amazing ground game.
Right now, got Nabil in the corner, got the perfect in the first round. Oh my god, why?
Oh, so gets clipped level 3. Yep, you are
Very much so dead. Drive rush.
The important thing to take note of when watching him is that even though he is a crackhead, you can't just beat him by sitting in training mode like you can the bad crackheads. He actually knows how to play the game. Tip number 4 is using patterns that are very common against your opponent. The one I recommend is the rule of 3. Have you ever noticed that you made a bad play out of force of habit, not because you wanted to? Like you jumped at a horrible time against someone who was at anti-air, or ran in at someone who could check your drive rush a lot? Oftentimes these plays come out of patterns of behavior we have to break, and are really hard to break. And one of the most common ones to exploit at any level of play is the rule of 3. After all, humans seem to have a really weird connection with the number 3. The phrase death comes in threes, boss fights having a secret third phase, or even art being split into thirds so it looks better in the middle. The point is this applies to fighting games too. There's a lot of times where you'll do something twice and the opponent will account for that thing on the third time, such as being thrown twice and then backdashing to escape the throw on the third attempt. This pattern of behavior is incredibly common at almost all levels of play, and can be used to generalize anything from offense to defense to neutral to advantage to disadvantage, you name it. Now, this doesn't mean that every single crackhead or every single player will use this 3 pattern. However, it is very important to note that it does exist, and it is a very good gateway for people who don't know how to adapt to start looking at these patterns. And once you start getting used to these patterns, you can start looking for other patterns in other players. The final tip I have, and this applies at all levels of play, no matter who you are, whether or not you have good fundamentals, or ways to stave them off, or good pattern recognition, is maintaining their drive advantage. Burning the opponent out is more important than anything in this game, especially if your opponent is a crackhead. Being able to gain that extra advantage on block means your opponent can't just fly at you and do certain moves, because that immediately gives up their advantage and they're forced to use supers to get them off of you, which they don't want to do because that means they're scared of a wall splat. Generally speaking, if your fundamentals are good and you won't die to things like a chip kill super or a special move, you should not be afraid to even burn yourself out if it means your crackhead opponent will be in burnout too. A lot of characters in this game, such as Aki and Kimberly, have really good pressure in burnout that keeps them always plus and carries the opponent to the corner, and the only way to escape is if the opponent makes a correct guess on a bunch of plus frames that have little to no gap. Certain characters I would not recommend this for include characters like Sea Viper, where you need the meter in order to play your game. Burning out on Sea Viper is not good at all. The chip damage you do, pressure you can put, and plus frames you get on burnout is so important at stopping the crackhead playstyle that you want to make sure that if they ever spend a drive rush cancel, you keep them below 3 bars. If they ever have below 2 bars, you know that you can take a DP because then they'll be burned out. And if they ever are running out of super bar, you can DI them and threaten them in the corner. Burning out your opponent is one of the easiest ways to stop a crackhead, because it is so easy to do for everyone at any elo, and it is so impactful no matter what happens. It is especially good with other advice given on this list. If the opponent is in burnout, your fundamentals can stop them from moving. If you have them in the corner, the Granblue zone will stop them from making any decisions because even your far heavies are much more plus. You can also react to them easy in burnout because they have no other option but to fight, and you can gain a lot of information. Also, while they're in burnout, it doesn't matter whether or not the crackhead knows how to adapt or not. They still have to sit there and take your mix-up while they're minus on block repeatedly over and over again. As an example, here's a clip from RYNGE's analysis of Mena RD versus Juninho Ross, and how Mena RD is able to successfully keep the drive gauge so low that Juninho is forced to burn himself out in order to play the game. I'm going to leave the full video in the description below, and I implore you guys to watch it, because it is amazing.
Juninho finally uses OSDP because it'll beat everything Mena has shown so far. But was this all part of the plan? Right before this DRC, Juninho was just above 2 bars, safe to OSDP. But if we examine when Mena connects on his normals, we see he hits Juninho right at meter regen timing twice, putting him below 2 bars before the DRC. OSDP after just being put below 2 bars, straight into burnout.
In my opinion, this is the most important tip compared to all of the other ones combined. If you were to take one thing out of this video, please take this one bit of advice, as this tip is enough to separate you from good play to top level play. Okay, this section of the video is going to be a little bit more informal, no super fancy editing, maybe some cuts here and there, but what I'm going to talk about is Slime's game against this random crackhead cammy. So this cammy player immediately starts playing like a crackhead ever since round 1. He goes for a hooligan fake and then goes for a spiral arrow for no reason later on in the game. He also goes for a lot of sweeps and gets hit by a lot of mashing buttons. This cammy, by the way, you can tell that they're a crackhead besides the entire beginning of the round because they've DP'd 4 times in a row on wake up. 3 regular DPs, and then here, 1 super on wake up. So already Slime is adapting very well. Blocking the wake up super entails that he's able to understand that the opponent is just pressing buttons for no reason, right? Good throw from the opposing cammy, and good jab from Slime. Stopping knowledge checks is really important in these crackhead matchups because they will be spamming them against you trying to mental stack you. Because the opponent is not playing the game and you are. 1 missed jump, but nice shimmy. That was very scary because if he did anti-air that, he would have had a lot more of a secure position because of that knockdown. Remember, anytime an opponent is knocked down, they can't be a crackhead because they're on the floor. Now, this is really important. This game 2, Slime loses 2 rounds to 0. So, something happens here, and as this cammy starts jumping like crazy, starts moving like crazy, and Slime is not blocking any of it. Round start, nice spin knuckle check. That was very good from Slime. Not anti-airing the jump in was bad, but it's okay. Mashing on wake up was bad. That's not okay. Nice awareness to jab there. But missing the meaty, unlucky. Nice awareness to stop this knowledge check again. He's very good at reacting to his own character's stuff. But again, misses the anti-air, misses the whiff punish, gets it that time, but be careful, obviously, right? Something bad could happen. Miss another anti-air, right? DP on wake up, expected. Good DP on the spin knuckle. But that DI was really greedy, right? This usually works only if the opponent is in burnout, because then they can't DI back. But the cammy being able to DI back lost him that round. Now we go to round 2. And the cammy's, again, just doing crazy stuff. Nice whiff punish. Nice whiff punish again with the dive kick, predicting the mash. 1 DP missed, very important. Slime misses 2 DPs potentially here on the anti-air. He gets it on the 3rd, but by that point, he spent 3 bars going in for the mix-up to enforce the jump, and knowing the opponent would jump this time. As you can see, he buffers the DP this time on the side, right? If he had those earlier, it would have been way easier. The opponent DPs out. Nice check from Slime. We could have had better combos there, but it's fine. The check was important. This is where optimal combos come into play, by the way. Usually, you don't really need these types of combos, but in crackhead situations, you do, because you want to make sure that they die as soon as possible, right? The check was good, so I don't really mind. But in this situation here, Slime could have killed the crackhead by doing a combo like this. A combo like this would have killed, right? Anyways, if we go back and end player control, Slime misses the combo twice to potentially kill. Flink's throw on accident. Slime plays on leverless, so he probably fat fingered that button. And then here, DI kills him because he's not ready to react, even though he has the drive bar to parry this. The opponent does heavy punch level 3, and the game is over. So Slime notices he's not blocking enough, and he's not playing reactive enough, because he could have DP'd those jumps 2 more times than he should have, right? So in this game, he plays way more patient and lets the opponent kill themselves naturally. Doing nothing allows the opponent to basically run themselves down to their own demise. The important habits that Slime remembers, by the way, at this point, and he mentioned this on his stream: spiral arrow DP, random button DP a lot, which is why you see Slime just blocking these random options right over here. On this Oki, he's just blocking a lot more to account for things like random DP or random jumps. As you can see, he messes up here, but it's fine because he's able to escape in a little bit. That mashing there was a bit risky because we know that guy likes to DP, but now he delay jabs here a little bit to account for the DP and then gets his combo. That's unlucky, whatever. Could have hit a better combo. This is very important. This time I'm going to nitpick about the combo because his Slime is at low drive. Right here, if we went for a heavy punch instead, we would have built around 4 bars on the knockdown. Or if we went for another combo, the meaty would have given us a lot, and he could have comboed on this masher if he did get a counter hit. So, optimizing the combo here is really important because he's at low drive. Usually it wouldn't really matter all too much, especially at 1500-ish elo, because people are not worrying too much about optimal combos. But make sure you have your punish combos ready, especially when you want to gain the drive bar, because that small combo kept him only at 3 and not at 4 bars. Locking the opponent down is good. The DI was good here to account for something, but the opponent is able to mash out, and this is why that extra bar of drive would have been relevant, right? Right here, if he had that extra bar of drive, he would have done some offense or something, right? Gotten that drive bar back, and then potentially had enough bar for 3 bars to be able to react with a DI after the driver's check, or the driver's cancel, sorry. But because he had nothing here, there was a lot more risk. He would have played a lot differently if he had more bar, and probably not done DI twice. So the opponent wins the first round, and he's just realizing he has to block a little bit more and play a little bit more passive. Blocking here to account for the possible DP. Misses the hooligan jab, but it's okay. Perfect parry because the opponent has always been landing with an aerial. I would prefer to DP, but this gives a better situation, so who can complain? Nice delay button. Again, this is another situation of optimal. Slime could have gotten a better combo here and then built a lot of drive. Right, he did it a bit too slow, but the idea is still there, right? A heavy punch would have been way better, because it would have given a way better combo, right? Let me reset the battle and show an example. Something like this, or keeping the drive gauge. Very strong situation there. So if Slime optimized the combo, he would have basically had 6 bars, but because he did a very simple combo, he only had 3 bars, which is really important. And now, we go to the 3rd round. Nice blocks. Tries dive kicking the whiff, but it's okay. Blocking again, very good. The opposing cammy is playing a bit more patient. So Slime realizes this guy's saving his crackheadedness for later, and trying to play more honest. But because this cammy's a crackhead, they don't know how to play honest. So all that's happening here is just random jumps and whatnot, because the cammy can't play the game. Should have blocked there as well. Nice jab. Here, level 3, because Slime accidentally burns himself out earlier, he used that meter to get more drive gauge after this super, which is very good. No mashing is very good here. And thanks to all this cammy's relentless mashing on this block, even though Slime could have killed earlier a little bit, right here, medium spiral arrow, he tries it and misses, but he's able to block this, get his drive meter back, and the opponent goes for some crazy play here. This is where Slime predicts, thanks to that information from earlier, that the cammy will do level 3 on Wake Up. And he blocks it successfully and wins. So what is the lesson of the story here? Slime adapted. Being able to see that someone was jumping like crazy and whiffing like crazy, and then whiff punishing those and taking advantage of it, was very good. Blocking a lot more to account for random DPs and take the drive advantage, very good. The things that could have been improved upon, in my opinion, more fundamentals, more anti-airs and whatnot, and making sure that your combos are top notch. Because Slime missed out on a few combos, alongside the fundamental stuff, but the most important thing there was that he missed a lot of optimal combos in my opinion. Those combos would have either killed, put him in kill range, put the opponent in checkmate, etc., and given him more drive to work with. There were times where he burned out or was at risk of burning out because of execution errors, but also because of his own sort of hubris with how he was taking advantage of the opponent. And so, if he had more drive, it would have been way easier for him to play the game in his sort of style by using those optimal combos. So make sure you have your punish counter combos down, make sure you have your whiff punish combos down, etc. But for now, this is a great display of adaptation by Slime, and thank you for letting me use your footage. That's the end of the video. I hope this helped you guys out. It was hopefully as comprehensive as I could make it. I wanted this video to be short, but I feel like all the examples were necessary for teaching as many people as possible. If you guys liked it, please do leave a like, subscribe, leave your feedback below, whatever the case may be, so I can understand what I did right, what I did wrong, what I could improve upon. And everything that I've credited will be in the description below, all my friends' social medias that helped me out, and all the video footage and whatnot. So please make sure you go give those guys some love as well. But yeah, hope this helped, and take care everybody.